Last time I mentioned that my father, Wu Shiyue, had become a model of counterattack, transforming from a farmer to an invisible billionaire. Guess what? His identity and status are sliding down like a slide. Some people are wondering, what's going on? In ancient China, social norms were even more concerned with character setting than today's internet celebrities, grouping people directly into 4 idle groups: scholars, farmers, workers, and merchants. The merchant group, however, was always left aside, like the on-deck seats in current talent shows. Why didn't everyone like them? Isn't it because they were seen as speculators who always tried to get something for nothing? Not only did ordinary people dislike them, but there were also various forms of suppression at the national level. How miserable it was for merchants during the Wei, Jin, Southern and Northern dynasties. To what extent was it miserable? Riding a horse? Riding in a carriage? That was the patent of scholars. Even dressing up was restricted. According to national regulations, businessmen are required to wear mandarin duck shoes with the left foot white and the right foot black, resembling pandas. They stand out wherever they go, as if afraid that others may not know. Hey, look at this one, a brother from the business world. Do you want to secretly change into a pair of shoes in the same color to be more low-key? There's no chance, as that would be illegal. This is called being rich but not noble, which is a far cry from what we often say about wealth and honor. People are always greedy. When they become rich, they want to be noble, and when they become noble, they want to be even richer. That's why there are those officials and businessmen engaging in cross-border cooperation, holding hands and hearts together, and riding the wind and waves in the long river of history. In summary, the merchants of my era had bulging wallets but couldn't stand tall. This is probably what is famously known as the troubles of the wealthy. Speaking of my father, Wu Shiyue, he was truly an unconventional, cross-border expert. From being a farmer toiling in the yellow earth, he leapt to become a wealthy and influential figure in the village. This transformation was faster than the app updates on our mobile phones today. But even with a full money bag, his heart was still not satisfied. Why? Because he lacked respect. It's like having a full Han banquet but no chopsticks, truly frustrating. So, my father began to think about how to let his small family background make a big difference in history. It's not like relying on social software to gain a sense of presence, but how did Dad carefully plan the road of upgrading and fighting monsters? Some people may say, then take the imperial examination. Knowledge changes your destiny. Yes, the imperial examination system is a good thing, and the great cause was established in 3 years, but my father was already an elite in the business world at that time. How could he have the mood to study books? Besides, when the imperial examinations were first released, they were not so popular. So, which path did Dad choose? He set his sights on the military camp and followed the route of meeting friends with force and establishing careers with the army. Why? The threshold is low. It doesn't depend on family background, but only on fists and courage. Isn't that how Shui Rengui got up? He joined the army in white and became famous in the First World War. From a farmer to a general, it was simply an inspirational blockbuster. My father was originally a simple farmer facing the lowest and facing the sky. But he had a dream and wanted to join the army? No, that's not exciting enough. I'm going straight to be an official. How did you get here? Simple, isn't we rich now? We spent money to buy an Yingyang Prefecture team leader, which is actually a little platoon leader experience card. Although we are not an official, we win because we have a low starting point and a lot of room for improvement. The most important thing is that he was extremely lucky and met a great person in his life, a real business partner, a key person who could help him climb to the peak of his life. Of course we know this person. He is an important link in driving the wheel of Tang Dynasty history. As for who is it? Brother Li Yuan, who was not yet Emperor Gaozu of the Tang Dynasty at that time, but was destined to shine brightly in the future. At that time, it was at the end of the Sui Dynasty, and heroes emerged. Brother Li Yuan was sent by the court to Shaanxi to serve as the peace ambassador of the Hedong region. It sounded high-end and high-end. When my father saw this, he said, "Hey, the new official has 3 fires. I have to get closer to roast this fire. Maybe I can borrow some light." As a result, my father started his local tycoon-style making friends mode and invited Li Yuan to eat and drink. That scene was simply the ancient version of the high-end privately customized service. It was eating, drinking, tasting tea, bathing, massaging, washing, cutting and blowing. He served Li Yuan comfortably, and he felt very happy in his heart. The two of them have become good friends after each other. Do you think this friendship is built out of money? Haha, but then again, it was worth the money. After all, we had a female emperor later. Speaking of those days, 13 years of great cause, it was an excellent stage for heroes to emerge in troubled times. Heroes sprung up like bamboo shoots after rain, and everyone wanted to take advantage of the chaos. The scene was more lively than grabbing special eggs at the vegetable market. Emperor Yang of the Sui dynasty was wandering leisurely in Yangzhou, but a fire broke out in his backyard, which made him jump in panic. Someone has to guard the house. Emperor Yang of the Sui dynasty slapped his thigh and selected several reliable ones. Brother Li Yuan was one of them and was appointed to stay behind in Taiyuan. He was the first position in Taiyuan's territory and was responsible for taking care of the peace in the north. As soon as Brother Li Yuan received the appointment, he packed up his belongings and headed for Shaanxi without saying a word. When we arrived in Taiyuan, Brother Li Yuan estimated, "Hey, I know this place well. There was a little brother who invited me to eat and massage before. It was very particular. As a result, he summoned my father, a warrior, and promoted me to a suit officer to join the army." It sounded majestic, and the person in charge of weapons was a powerful figure in the army. Dad was very happy in his heart and thought, "Brother promoted me, I have to repay the favor and reciprocate the favor." As a result, the two people had dinner and tea parties one after another, and the relationship became deeper and deeper. During his in-depth exchanges with Brother Li Yuan, my father gradually realized his extraordinary character, his ambition, and he murmured in his heart, "Yo, this brother not only wants to defend the country, but also wants to expand his territory and become an emperor." At this time, my father was conflicted in his heart. It was like eating a bottle with everything. If you report it, you can't bear to. If you follow it, you're afraid of losing your head. If you pretend you don't know, you don't think it's funny enough. Finally, my father thought, "Okay, I'd better follow the middle course, protect myself wisely, and not offend anyone." Therefore, in front of Brother Li Yuan, my father showed his loyalty and warmth, and even recommended himself as a military leader furui, with an attitude of, "I am proud if you succeed." Haha, speaking of this self-recommended military leader furui, you have to listen to me in detail. First of all, the war book is not an ordinary book. It is the crystallization of the wisdom of our ancestors. It refines the essence of the art of war from the past into the essence. It is simply a sunflower treasure for war. At that time, knowledge was a scarce resource and was in the hands of a few people. Although Brother Li Yuan stayed behind in Shaanxi, he did not come from a soldier who fought hard all the way. He was an aristocrat born with a gold spoon in his mouth. In fighting, he relied more on his talent and family background. But in war, there will always be times when you don't follow common sense. Brother Li Yuan also murmured in his heart, "Do I need to supplement my theoretical knowledge?" Just in time, my father, a warrior, delivered this timely rain, the military letter at the right time. Imagine my father saying sincerely, "Brother, I have a treasure here. They are all secret manuals for marching and fighting. Can you take a look?" When Brother Li Yuan saw this, his eyes lit up. He was so beautiful in his heart. He praised him, "Good thing, good thing." As for furui, it is just making up stories. The biography of the samurai in the New Tang book and the 24 histories are mentioned. I told Li Yuan. I dreamed that he was a dragon, and the dragon was the true dragon and son of heaven, which made Li Yuan smile. The clearest thing about my father's move was that he not only expressed his loyalty, but also did not explicitly ask Brother Li Yuan to rebel. After all, the situation was complex at that time, and he had to be careful, right? He had to make everyone feel that he was still loyal to the Sui dynasty so that he could save his own life in the troubled times. Therefore, these military letters and furui are simply a military gift package, tailored by my father for Brother Li Yuan. They are both practical and considerate, and people have to admire his wisdom and skill. On the other hand, Emperor Yang of the Sui dynasty was very clever. He assigned Brother Li Yuan two special caregivers, Wang Wei and Gao Jun. They were actually assistants in name, but in fact they were supervision, for fear that Brother Li Yuan would make tricks in Taiyuan. These two brothers stare at Brother Li Yuan every day and are muttering in their hearts, "This kid's eyes are not right. Is there something wrong with him?" I was planning to secretly check it out. At this time, my father samurai made his debut. Do you know why he can make a living? You have money, you have friends all over the world. No, he is also quite familiar with Wang Wei and Gao Junya. As soon as he heard that these two people wanted to investigate Brother Li Yuan, his father immediately activated his peacemaker mode. I say, "You two, how can you work happily together if you don't trust Brother Li Yuan so much? Don't let the misunderstanding hurt the harmony. When Wang Wei and Gao Junya heard this, hey, that really made some sense, so they went down the slope and stopped investigating. This back and forth has bought brother Li Yuan valuable time. In this way, my father, a warrior, made the right bet and won this big political gamble. After Li Yuan became emperor, his father became the Minister of Finance. Although he became a senior ministerial official, ministers still couldn't help but point fingers behind his back. Said he was a nouveau riche who sold wood. This has made money and efforts, but still has not won people's respect. What should I do?